It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you and welcome to the Science Bowl. This is it, the finale of a season. We come to the end of the elementary competition. Started with 40 schools. We are down to the final 2. One of these 2 schools will be the county champion. Let's meet them right now. First from Glenarden Woods Elementary, say hello to Jonah Valverde, Zaki Chowdhury, and Gabrielle Privat. And from Montpelier Elementary School, say hello to Katie Godshall, Harris Chaudhry, and Allison DeMick. And now here are the categories of questions we use on the Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
Here on the Science Bowl, we arrange our game board according to question difficulty, with easier questions on the left worth 5 and 10, tougher ones worth 15, 20, ultimately 25. Toughest question of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points apiece. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. End of the 2 rounds, we will have a county champion. Let's make sure everything's working properly. Let's go to the red team. Zaki, would you try that buzzer? It looks good. It sounds good. Good luck to you, Gabrielle and Jonah. And Harris, would you try yours? It too seems to be in fine shape. Good luck to you, to Katie and to Allison. Congratulations, teams. One of you will be repeating as county champ. Montpelier, you were last time in 2009. Glenarden Woods, you are the defending champ with 4 championships. So there's a tradition of winning. Let's have a great game. We go alphabetically G before M. So Glenarden Woods and Zaki, let's start the bowl.
Green things for 10.
Green things for 10 points to start our game. Teams frozen for 1,500 years beneath the ice in Antarctica. These bryophytic plants that we associate with growing on the north side of a tree recently were revived. Montpelier.
Moss.
Moss, yes, the moss. They put it under a heat lamp in Britain and it's starting to grow again. Now you talk about resurrection ecology. That's it. Go green.
Zoo Parade for 5.
Zoo Parade for 5 points. Teams, there are a lot of animals in similes in the English language. You can be as sly as a fox, or busy as a bee, or slippery as one of these, Montpelier.
Eel.
An eel. Slippery as an eel. Absolutely. You don't even need to tell me that was a fish. Good. Go green.
Green things for 5.
Green things for 5 points. Teams, if you talk to your plants, biomass will increase because you're giving them wind, not because you're giving them this. Montpelier.
CO2.
CO2, yes. The CO2 is negligible in the contribution to increasing the size of those plants. That was an interesting experiment. Try again.
Body systems for 5.
Body systems for 5 points. Teams, because body language doesn't often betray someone who is actually lying. TSA agents and the police would really like it if this body part did grow longer if you lied. Glenarden Woods.
Your nose.
Your nose, the Pinocchio effect. Yes, indeed. Go red.
Zoo Parade for 10.
Zoo Parade, 10 points, teams. And along with the fossils of whales and porpoises that they found on the Chilean coast, they also found a skeleton of an aquatic version of this mammal, Montpelier. Yes, sir.
Cow?
Not a cow. Glenarden Woods, besides the whales and the porpoise skeletons, they found a skeleton of an aquatic version of this mammal that apparently, like marine iguanas, would eat algae. And because it moves so slowly, it is known as one of the 7 deadly sins.
Sloth.
Sloth, absolutely right. There was an aquatic sloth. Go red.
Body systems for 10.
Body systems for 10 points. Teams, if you grit and gnash and grind these. Glenarden Woods?
Your teeth.
Your teeth. You can chip them. Good. Red, go.
Green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points. Teams, apoptosis is not a term I expect you to know. It is defined as cellular suicide in plants. An example would be a leaf falling off a tree and these falling off flowers. Montpelier.
Petals?
Petals, absolutely right. Getting rid of a body part. Tough to do, but plants do it for a reason. Go green.
Let's get physical for 5.
Get physical for 5 points. Teams, they call it the incredible shrinking planet. This tiniest of planets, Montpelier.
Mercury?
Mercury. It's getting tinier still. Yes, indeed. Go green.
Science potpourri for 5.
Potpourri for 5 points. Teams, because 80% of a plant is underground, it is often compared to these frozen things we find at sea that are mostly underwater. Glenarden Woods.
Icebergs?
Icebergs, yes, indeed. Most of what you see is not what is actually all there. Red.
Zoo parade for 15.
Zoo parade for 15 points. Teams, the largest insect in the United States starts out as a grub and metamorphoses into Montpelier.
Beetle?
Yes, a Hercules beetle. Absolutely right. Good. Green.
Dateline science for 5.
Dateline science for 5 points. Teams, the rapid beating of a blowfly's wings is inspiring scientists who are trying to make many versions of these flying robots that we know as these. Montpelier.
Flies?
Not flies. These miniature flying robots are otherwise known as these. Scientists are basing them on blowflies.
Drones?
Drones, absolutely right. Good. Go. Red.
Body systems for 10.
Body systems for 10 points. I think that was the one with teeth, was it not? Yes, so that should be extinguished. Try again, please.
Let's get physical for 10.
Let's get physical for 10 points. Teams, on one of Neptune's moons, there is an extraterrestrial version of one of these fountains that we associate with Old Faithful. Glenarden Woods?
Geysers?
A geyser, yeah, there's an extraterrestrial geyser out there, way out there in the solar system. All right, our score at this point is Montpelier 105, Glenarden Woods 195, very close, advantage red.
Body systems for 15.
Body systems for 15 points. Teams, bile is a body fluid that is also known by another name, which is the first part of the name of the organ that makes it. Montpelier.
Lymph node?
Not lymph node, no. The organ that makes bile, the first name of that organ is a synonym for bile. Can you give it to me? What you think, guys?
Pancreas?
Gall, as in gallbladder. Bile is also known as gall. All right, the buzzer has just rung, so we come to the end of the first half of this championship game, almost at a dead heat. Glenarden Woods 95, Montpelier 105. We will be back with round 2 in just one moment. Don't you go away.
With video games, I'm always choosing between what my kids want and what I think is best for them. How about this one? Which is why I love these new rating summaries. They let me know exactly what's in the game. Players shoot lasers from an arm cannon. Robot enemies explode and limbs fly off.
Maybe that other one's better.
Yeah. Get your free game rating summary today, and with it, the world's most powerful weapon, knowledge.
I wanted to start a business that I was passionate about, something I absolutely enjoyed and believed in.
I was doing the corporate grinds, and I kind of wanted to do something a little more green. My name's Steve Allen. I run Rad Cab in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We do pedicabs and mobile outdoor advertising. I love being social, talking to people.
A lot of confusing stuff when you start a business. When I go in and talk to my store mentor, he really helps me sort it all out, and we just get organized. And when I go home, I feel confident about what's going on. It really feels amazing to create jobs here in my city.
It's incredibly awesome. I love to show it off.
If you get a solid foundation for your business laid, everything else falls in place. SCORE has absolutely been the most invaluable resource that I've had from day one. For free? I could not imagine doing anything else.
Get your free business mentor at score.org. I always thought being a good mother meant raising my baby myself. But when I got pregnant, I realized I wasn't ready to be a parent. So I did something I thought I could never do. I chose adoption. It was really hard, but I know my baby is with a loving family and has a very bright future.
Sometimes choosing adoption is being a good mother. Visit us at ichooseadoption.org.
Welcome back to this championship game here on Science Ball. And the students who take home the championship today will be getting plaques for their school and individual plaques for themselves as a way to commemorate this experience, something that we hope they will always remember. And some of their colleagues already have those plaques because, as we were saying at the top of the show, these schools have been champions before, hoping to repeat. Let's go over to Glenarden Woods, the reigning champ. Tell us about Glenarden Woods. Miss Bolding is your principal over there, and Miss Emerson and Miss Stewart are the two sponsors. And you had some alternates on your team. Gabrielle was an alternate. Now she's front and center. Who are the alternates, Zaki?
Emmanuel, Lola, and Ninu.
Wonderful. And they're out there, and they will be out with our sponsors in just a few moments' time. And tell me some of the things that happen at Glenarden Woods. I know about the feast that you used to have. Do you still have that?
Yes.
And what's the theme this year?
India.
India, wow. Because I remember China and Egypt in the Middle Ages, so this is something different. This is total immersion. You learn all about the culture of India. What do you hope to do someday? It's chemical engineering, yeah? Yeah. How'd you get interested in that?
Well, I like to take things apart and put them back together, and I like math and science.
Sounds like a good career choice. And you got a good head on your shoulders, and I like how cool and calm you are. You're a good leader, Zaki. And Gabrielle, nice to have you with us. Tell us what you want to do someday.
I'm not really sure. Something with either robotics or art.
Robotics or arts? Oh, that's a nice combination there. I like that. Why'd you want to be on this show?
I really do like science, and I thought maybe, well, if I did won the Science Bowl, then I'd be able to have something be like, I won the Science Bowl to my little brother.
It's called bragging rights. I understand that. That's pretty cool, Gabrielle. No matter what happens today, that little brother's going to look up to you. Jonah, good to have you back. Young man who likes plants, and I know you told me you were a swimmer. You swim at the University of Maryland. Do you swim on a competitive team?
Yes. They haven't had much meets this year yet.
Not many this year, yeah. What else do you do in your spare time?
Well, I really like to read, and I love to paint.
Yeah, what do you paint?
Plants.
Plants? That makes sense. They make good subjects. They don't move too much, do they?
Oh, yeah, and they're also very pretty.
Yeah, also very, absolutely. Good point. A lot of stamps that the U.S. Postal Service puts out have flowers and other plants. Maybe you can do that someday. Good to have you here. Montpelier, good to have you guys back. Everybody's wearing blue today with yellow lettering. You know, it just turned out that way. And you got your mascots, your Bulldogs up there. They've brought you luck this season. Montpelier up there in Laurel, and Principal Furlow behind you, and Miss Bella Clamage. And who else is joining you today?
Our science teacher, Mr. Patiri.
Wonderful. And he'll be out in a few moments. I know how much he's worked to make this possible today as well. And alternates on your team, who are they, Harris?
We have one alternate, Desomioki.
Wonderful. And she'll be out in just a few moments. Tell me something special that goes on at Montpelier.
Well, Montpelier is just fun. Every subject is like, you learn a whole lot, like details, things you don't really need right now, but it'll come handy like in your life someday.
That's such a good point, because every experience you have, you learn from. So there's never anything wasted. Even if you have, sometimes people have a job that think, what am I going to get out of this? You will learn something from that. So each day make a kind of a vow to yourself that I'm going to learn something new today. You're a great player, Harrison. Someday you want to be an astronaut. Yes. I can see you doing that. I can see you doing that. Allison, tell us a little bit about what you do in your spare time.
Well, I read books, and I watch old science balls on my iPod, and sometimes I play with my brothers a little bit.
Yeah. Are they older or younger?
Both of them are younger.
Both of them are younger. Are you going to be like Gabrielle, or are you going to say, I won the Science Bowl, to kind of show it over them?
No, I'm not like that.
Yeah. And some people are and some people aren't. It's whatever you are like. Okay, good to have you with us today. Katie, good to have you with us today. Future prosecutor, huh?
Yep.
Yep. So you're going to be one of those tough people in court fighting for the state, huh?
Shown it with my brother, so.
Ah, I
I'm
get
stubborn.
that. Judges, we got this sister-brother thing going on here today. Yeah. Katie, you're a good player. Great player. Nice to have you back. Let's get back to our game. Our score almost dead heat. 95 Glenarden, 105 Montpelier. Lots of the high-valued points left. Start us out, Zachy.
Let's get physical for 15.
Let's get physical for 15 points. Teams, if you are caught on a speed camera in Europe, they're going to record you going what per hour? Glenarden Woods.
Kilometers.
Kilometers instead of miles. Yes, they're in the metric system over there. Go Red.
Science potpourri for 10.
Potpourri for 10 points. Teams, there is a new bicycle horn out that is almost as loud as a car horn. In fact, it registers 112 of these. Glenarden Woods.
Decibels.
Decibels, yeah. So that is like a car horn. You do that on a bicycle, you're going to blow people off the road. All right, 120, 105. Zachy, go.
Dateline science for 10.
Dateline for 10 points. No joke, the physicist who recently generated fusion using lasers has a last name that describes these tropical storms that we experience. Harris?
Hurricane?
Yes, his name is Dr. Hurricane. Sounds like a supervillain out of Despicable Me. Yes, indeed. Go Green.
Science potpourri for 15.
Potpourri for 15 points. Teams, what is the name of the scientific instrument that lets astronauts spin around to experience G-forces? Montpelier.
I don't know.
Yes, sir. Don't know, Glenarden Woods. This instrument that spins astronauts around so they can experience G-forces and is also used in a laboratory to separate liquids based on different densities.
Graphometer?
Not a graphometer. Good try. A centrifuge. A centrifuge spins around real fast. Go Green.
Dateline science for 15.
Dateline science for 15 points. Teams, your question is as follows. This year's winner of the Intel Science Talent Search was a 17-year-old California senior who came up with a new drug for treating this viral disease that many of us get a shot for every winter. Montpelier.
Flu?
The flu, influenza. Yes, sir. Good. Go. You're back in the lead.
Green things for 20.
Green things, 20 points. Teams, your question is as follows. Gwynn Park High School here in Prince George's County is about to start a new course. What initialed science involves the growing of crops? Glenarden Woods.
Agriculture.
Agriculture, the growing of crops for humans and animals. Yes, indeed. First time here in the county. Go Red. Good answer.
Body systems for 20.
Body systems for 20 points. Teams, if you are a G.I. Joe in the Army, you are a general infantry or general issue. But if G.I. Joe is a doctor, G.I. stands for what specialty? Montpelier.
Gastrointestinal?
Yes, sir. Gastrointestinal is the G.I. I was after. Good.
Zooparade for 20.
Zooparade for 20 points. Teams, like many species of animals around the world, green sea turtles practice polygamy. Meaning, what do they do? Polygamy. What you think? Montpelier. Yes, sir. Glenarden Woods. Animals that practice polygamy do what?
They leave their babies behind.
No, good try. They mate with many different animals. So you don't just have one wife, you have a harem, maybe. All right? Go again, Green.
Let's get physical for 20.
Get physical for 20 points. Teams, the TV show Mythbusters busted the myth that when a ship like the Titanic sinks, it draws people down with them, even though the bubbles that create makes the water less what? Glenarden Woods?
Dense.
Dense, yeah, good, go.
Science potpourri for 20.
Potpourri for 20 points. Teams, your question is as follows. Legend has it that it all began with a North African herd of goats that munched on these berries and then started frolicking around like never before. Because inside, Montpelier. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Alcohol?
Not alcohol. Glenarden Woods. What bitter white powder was inside those berries that today is the most popular stimulant around the world? What you think? Caffeine. Caffeine in coffee. Go red.
Dateline Science for 20.
Dateline for 20 points. Teams. Cold fusion has never been able to be repeated. Cold fusion is when you take two hydrogen atoms and you squeeze them together to make an atom of helium, which leaves some matter left over that turns into energy. All of which is to say, this is why Einstein came up with his famous formula, E. Montpelier.
E equals mc squared.
Squared, that's right. Good, go.
Green things for 25.
Green things for 25. Big one in that category. Visual question. Look at the monitor in the studio. This rather unremarkable plant known as a Arabidopsis is known as the fruit fly of the plant world because it reproduces so quickly it helps scientists who study what branch of science? Montpelier.
Botany?
Not botany, no. What branch of science? They call it the fruit fly of the plant world. It reproduces so quickly, which is a boon to scientists that study what branch?
Evolution?
Genetics. 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 That's what fruit flies are associated with. Go green. 5 questions left. 10-point lead.
Zoo parade for 25.
Zoo parade for 25 points. Teams, birds don't have just one stomach. They have 2. The second one has little pebbles inside to help grind up its food. And you probably have seen it at Thanksgiving in that little packet when you eat your turkey. What's the name of that second stomach? Montpelier. Glenarden, can you name that stomach?
The gizzard?
Yes, indeed. That's what I want to hear. The gizzard is. Go red.
Body systems for 25.
Body systems for 25 points. Teams, because there are a lot of parents who are anti-vaxxers, they do not want to have their children vaccinated, there has been a resurgence of MMR, 3 childhood diseases. Can you give me 2 MMR diseases that are coming back because the vaccines are not being taken as much as before? MMR. Give me 2 of the 3. Montpelier, you've rung in. What do you want to tell me?
Malaria?
Nope, not malaria. Glenarden Woods.
Measles and mumps?
You got them. Yeah, the other one was rubella. Good. Red.
So let's get physical for 25.
Physical for 25 points seems a mathematical question. Listen carefully. The dust that forms stars is just slightly warmer than absolute zero. Absolute zero is minus 459 degrees on the Fahrenheit scale. What is it on the Celsius scale? Absolute zero. Glenarden Woods.
Zero?
Give me a number.
0.
Not 0. Montpelier, give me a number. Absolute zero on the Celsius scale. Minus 273. 2 questions left. Go red.
Science potpourri for 25.
Potpourri for 25 points. Look at the monitor. Visual question. Teams, you're looking at a concave lens with light coming through it. What that light is doing is what D-initialed word that is also the #1 movie in America today. Montpelier.
Distilling?
Not distilling. Good try. That light, what it is doing as it goes through that concave lens is what D-initialed process. It is also the name of the #1 movie in America.
Divergent?
Diverging, absolutely right. And Divergent was the name of the movie. 25 points, last question of the game. Dateline Science. Here it is. Teams, the longest of these ever sequenced was of pine trees, which has millions and millions of DNA molecules all inside of it. What am I talking about? The longest what ever sequenced? What do you think, Glenarden Woods?
Lifespan?
Not lifespan, good try. All the collection of that DNA, that's called the what? That's sequence. It's a genome, the largest genome ever sequenced. And with that, we come to the end of our game. It looks like Glenarden Woods is repeating as county champ. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Don't go away.
Simple moments are what make every day count.
pregnant riding the bus. That was hard. You just have all the stares and you have all the questions, and even little kids make you nervous just staring at you. When you get pregnant, all the stuff just goes through your mind. Abortion, adoption, keeping him. You're his mom. You're supposed to be the one taking care of him and raising him. But when you're 15 and pregnant, you can't do it without support. I wanted to give him a better life. When I found out I was pregnant, I don't know, just a light hit me in my heart, just saying adoption, what you need to do. I really have a simple dream. I just want to get my nursing career, get married, and have a family. When I get pregnant again, give them a better life. I'm Miranda, and I chose adoption.
And welcome back, everyone. We've got some long faces in the studio here and some bright faces. They should all be smiling because they did a terrific job here, not just today, but all season. These are elite students, the best science students in Prince George's County. Out of 40 schools, we came down to these two. They are all winners. Our final tally today is Montpelier 170, Glenarden Woods 235. Congratulations, Jonah and Zachy and Gabrielle and Lola and Ninu and who am I missing? Miss Stewart and Miss Emerson and Manuel. Thank you, Emmanuel. And give me those smiles over there. Harris, you were so intense that game there. We love you. You did a great job here. Allison and Katie and Desomi, Mr. Putiri and Miss Clamage, thank you for doing all this. And Principal Furlew, thank you for being here to support this team. Congratulations. Enjoy your win. Thank you for being with us, and I'd be remiss without thanking all the people that make this show possible, our wonderful interns from Roosevelt High School and from Flowers, Naja and Edward and Devin and Bethel, our audio man, Rodney, and all of our judges that are here today. And this show would not happen without my buddy and director and right-hand man, Chuck Wolf. He's just the best. He makes this happen. We hope to see you next season. Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye now.